Hi everyone, my name is Stacy Ross and I am Glasgow and the West ABI Coordinator for the Child Brain Injury Trust. I am here today to speak on the service and what we can provide. So what we're going to speak about is how we support families directly and indirectly. Technology is not my strong suit, so please bear with me. So what we work with ABIs, so for brain and afterbirth development. So we look at TBIs, which is a traumatic brain injury, so road traffic collision, falls in the head, assaults, gunshot wounds and concussion. We also look at non-TBIs, which is such as meningitis, encephalitis, strokes as a result of bleeds or blockages on the brain, lack of oxygen, cardiac arrest, toxic exposure and near drowning. We accept referrals up to the age of 18 and support until over the age of 25. What I will highlight is, and I think it's quite important for ourselves, is that we are not a short-term service. We are a long-term service, so we're not a short intervention. We can support families right up until the age of 25. We understand that the experience and the journey with any ABI is very much peaks and troughs. Some families require a little bit of support. Some families will require a full scaffolding around them. Some families may go quiet for a few months and then they will come back again. And that makes our service unique. We're not short-term, we are very much long-term. We have one coordinator per family, so I will cover the whole of Scotland, which is a very kind of pleasant experience because we get to grow with the family and we're not put back and forth to various different coordinators. I will be with the family for the entire journey. We provide UK-wide support, so we have 22 coordinators based all over the UK and we are embedded within 19 major trauma centres. So we're very fortunate that we get to have the kind of first-hand, hands-on experience and we get to grow with the major trauma teams and various other hospital professionals. We have direct access. Some coordinators are on the ward based, some are not, but we're very fortunate that we get to deal with acute care and then we discharge back into the community, and that's where we feel that our work really takes place and where we kind of start to kind of take off with the family, because we know that once we leave the hospital setting and a clinical setting, the family are left feeling very exposed and very like, well, what happens now? Where do we go? What do we do? So for us, this is where we step in and we help guide the family, and as I said, we can scaffold a tailored support plan around each family. It's very much a bespoke service. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. I will adapt my approach to each family and each individual family's needs. We don't just support the child, we support the family as a whole. So we look at family support, we look at early intervention, and this basically means navigating the journey. As I said, we're integrated within the major trauma teams and the trauma centres within the hospital. We have child-friendly resources, and again, that comes from our resources which we have with us today, but we also have a website that's well equipped with various different online resources, information and fact sheets. Again, these are free to access. Whether or not you have an ABI or not, they are free to access, so please have a look at them if you have the chance to. I'll be right here again today with all of this information with me. As I said, we have ABI and learning sessions. So for me, what my sessions are, I work a lot with education. I train teachers on understanding acquired brain injury, because what we find is a lot of education settings or various other settings, they don't know what it is because they've never experienced it. So this is where we would come in. We would train the school staff, train social work, train various other healthcare professionals and give them a kind of brief understanding and a kind of short kind of training session of this is what an ABI is and how you can support the young child who has been impacted by this. We also look at advocacy for the whole family. So basically the advocacy service is very much, we can tailor that around each family. We have our learning support tools, we have our financial advisors, we have support services, we do signpost to other organisations, but bear in mind when I say signpost, we don't just signpost to any organisation, we have to work with the organisation closely. For me personally, I wouldn't signpost a family, who I didn't know worked well. So we will signpost the families who I work with closely, who I can kind of say that are reputable as well. Emotional and practical support and counselling. We are very fortunate that we do have a counselling service, and this is for children aged 11 and upwards. And our waiting list at the moment currently is about 2 months, and we offer a maximum of 8 sessions per family. So it's not just for the child, it can be for the family as well. But bear in mind, obviously, if the child is accessing counselling and the family or the mum and the dad want to access it, that can be arranged, obviously, with separate counsellors at all times. But we're very fortunate that each counsellor that we have, although they are independent from our organisation, they are trained in acquired brain injury itself. Peer support. So what we would do for our peer support is we have virtual support groups, we have in-person support groups, and what we're finding a lot at the moment is what is there available in the community, which is a bit of a challenge at the moment, but we actively try and look for services that can support children and families who have been impacted by directly impacted by brain injury in itself. What I would do also as well is I host different family events about 3 or 4 times a year, and it allows families to come together to basically meet one another, share their experiences, share their stories, and again, that lived experience, as I said, we can speak about it, but unless you have that lived experience, we can't really fully go along with that. So we have our family support, which we feel was vitally important, and we are a family-based organisation. We put the child and the family at the centre of all of our work. We are led by the family. I will lead with the family. As I said, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It is very much adapted and tailored to the individual needs. We support with grants, funding applications also as well for specialist equipment, i.e. could be for a laptop, it could be for an iPad, it could be for a specialist bed, it could be for a wheelchair. So we will also provide funding for that too. We also have our legal signposting service also as well. And as I said, we have our financial support service as well, which we will signpost to, and housing signposting support. How we will support professionals is working partnerships. Just bear with me 1 second. As I said before, working in partnerships, we are in hospitals with discharge planning meetings. We are one of the very few organisations that do have direct ward access. As I said, we have 22 coordinators. Some of the coordinators are based on wards, and we have access to MDTs. We attend family clinics, neuro-oncology, neuro-rehab, neuropsychology, so we're very much embedded within each hospital setting. We, again, support within social and practical care meetings, so as I said, social work, schools, any other third sector and voluntary organisation. We work with private teams, private organisations, i.e. occupational health, etc. As I said, we do have learning resources, which they are available online. It's a wealth of resources. And we do have our CPD courses, which we run separately, and they are a 2-day course, and it's for various other healthcare and professionals who would like to have a further understanding and deeper knowledge of acquired brain injury. Again, we also attend conferences and support with fundraising also. We find that what works well for us is being included within the MDTs, including case managers, private team meetings. We also do this by upskilling in social care, schools and therapists. We support within education at all times, phase returns, TAC meetings, annual skill awareness session and peer support group sessions, again, that are both virtual and in-person meetings. As I've said before, we are very much person-centred, and everything that we do, as I said, we put the family first, and I think that's what makes us very much unique. As I said, our referrals can be done online. We have our online referral system. They are done within the clinical teams in the hospital, or a family can self-refer. Also, I'm very aware that I spoke very quickly, as I have another guest speaker with me, and her name is Vicki, and this is one of the family members that I was speaking about. She's going to come up and share her story also.
Wow, big room. Thanks, Stacy. Thank you for that. I don't have anything on the screen or anything else. We're just a family whose daughter was in an accident. 2 years ago, our daughter Jennifer was in a car accident on the way home from school and suffered a traumatic brain injury. We were within 2 hours, we were in the trauma centre in Edinburgh, where she went through weeks and weeks of treatment. All the professionals that have been speaking today, I ticked a box in every single one of the things that they said today that we've been there. Jennifer had what we called the bolt in her brain measuring the pressure when she was in a coma. She would have been what the lady called earlier a category A. She was in a full coma for a week, could do nothing, and then spent a further week coming out of her coma because, as we found out, it's not like it is on the telly. And people don't just wake up and have a cup of tea and a chat. They actually have to reduce in medication. They have to slowly come to. Their body goes into withdrawal from drugs. There's so many things, and when you're Joe Public and not a neurologist or one of these amazing professionals that are in here today, you'll learn very quickly that actually there's a whole world out there that we know nothing about. Jennifer then, we were transferred out of critical care within 2 weeks, and she then was transferred to Borthwick Ward, where we started a rehab. I did bring paper, but I'm not really reading any of it because from where we're standing, paperwork and screens don't show what these people did for our family and how Jennifer's recovery went. She had to learn to eat, sleep, walk, talk, do everything again. And it was through the physios, the neurologists, everybody that was involved, the trauma team, everybody had something to do in Jennifer's recovery. Jennifer did the most of the work, where she's very stubborn, and I think that's probably what got her through at the end of it. She's a very strong young lady. We're in Forth Valley, so obviously it was the paramedics that scooped her up off the road on the way after she had her accident. And it was Forth Valley that transferred her very quickly to Edinburgh, and without them, the paramedics, she wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't have the quality of life. I'll never forget Audrey in Borthwick Ward when we were transferred there, the lady that goes around helping kids in the kids ward, saying, "Don't worry, I've seen children leave this hospital worse than Jennifer, and they've walked out of here." And my husband and I at the time never, I actually remember saying to him, "Did you hear what she just said?" Jennifer at that point was basically in a vegetative state and could do nothing. And 9 weeks later, she did walk out of there because of the help and the infrastructure that was put behind these people and the kids and everyone else that goes in there. She did walk out of there. And she actually walked down the aisle as my husband and I got married. She walked 9 weeks after what had happened to her did happen. The help that came in made such a difference to us that it gave us Jennifer and gave Jennifer her life back. She learned to do everything again, but once you leave, as Stacy just said, once you leave the confines of the hospital where you're very much protected, you've got all these amazing professionals, that speech therapists, occupational therapists, dietitians, everything you can ever imagine, that have got this wonderful bubble around you. You leave there and you've got nobody. But you've got physios and different things, but nothing really that's going to emotionally support you. And that's where Stacy came in, who has listened to me rant on many an hour about schools or husbands or whatever it is that's annoying you at the time, and just listens and kind of goes, right, it's okay. And she went into the school, did a lot of work in the school, educating them on how to work with brain injury, because Jennifer's doing exams now, and the SQA say, well, what help does she need? How do you explain a brain injury? No two are the same. So we can't explain what help Jennifer needs. We can't tell them that she fits into this box, because a brain injury doesn't fit into a box. A brain injury for every single person is totally different. There's no two the same. But what it does do for our journey is you look at the world in a very different place. you see people very differently, and you understand that we're not all the same. Every single person is different, and we all have our own quirks. And as we say to Jennifer, just own it. Own it all. You are who you are. There's a big wide world out there, and everybody's different. But like you were saying earlier with the insomnia, Jennifer has that. Jennifer needs prompts for everything. We get up in the morning and we go, did you put your deodorant on? Have you packed your iPad for school? Have you got your lunch? Have you got this? It just becomes part of everyday life. But that's our normal. I sat here all day today listening, going, yep, got that. Yep, got that. Yep, we tick that box. And that was why I've not really looked at this, because you can't really judge all that. It is early intervention that makes the difference. It is the trauma team behind you that makes the difference. It is the neurologists and the neurosurgeons that stand there. I remember when we had our first night in critical care, and the neurosurgeon says, I need you to understand how serious this is. Your daughter has a 1 in 3 chance of making it out here. One, she'll walk out here, or she'll not make it, or she'll be severely disabled. We're very lucky. We have our daughter back. But these people are so clever, and they give you that. All of you people, a lot of you people in here, you gave us our daughter back. Nobody else did that. She did the work. You put the stuff behind it. But it's such a different world to live in once you've done it. People say to you, how's Jennifer? And I just always say, yeah, she's fine. Because she is, but you can't explain. She doesn't sleep. She needs this, she needs that. We have a 10-year-old, and in a lot of ways, he's stronger than Jennifer, because Jennifer would walk out the house and leave the door open, and you would come back and you would have nothing left. And you would say to her, Jennifer, you didn't lock the door. Yeah, I did. No, you didn't. Right, okay. Or you go to the bathroom and you go, Jennifer, the shower's still on. No, it's not. Yes, it is. We're about to be flooded. She forgets. So the prompts are these are all the prompts. It's as I said earlier, it's everything that's been said today is what a brain injury is. And there really, really isn't two the same. So when people say, how's Jennifer? Yeah, she's fine. Because people just really, really don't get it. But now that Jennifer's made her recovery, and we have the help of Stacy and everybody else behind us, she is going to school, she is doing her exams. As I say, we're very, very lucky. Very, very lucky that Jennifer can do that. And she has given me a little bit to read, which I will. But people say to me often, how do you know if it's Jennifer being a teenager, or if it's Jennifer's brain injury that's causing you the problem when she takes her Diva Strops, or she does what we've affectionately got to know and is called zoning out, when her brain injury kicks in an environment like this where she just can't cope. And we just say it's her eyes. We can look at her eyes and we can see it's either stroppy teenager that's chucking a Diva Strop, or it's her brain injury that's came in and went where she just can't cope, so we need to take her out of the situation. One of the many things that Stacey's done for us, I know I'm going back and forward, is given us a lanyard that Jennifer wears. And there was something very recently that we were on a flight to Egypt, and we were up in the air, and Jennifer had an absolute meltdown. And I just took the lanyard and gave it to the air hostess who was walking by, and everybody looks, because people do. And everybody looks because, as my friend said the other day when she's seen a picture of Jennifer, she looks normal. Oh, she is. There's nothing wrong with her. She's got a brain injury. To a degree, we're all a bit neurologically challenged, if you like. But I gave them a lanyard, and I said, I just need to take her to the back of the plane and just give us a minute. She went, no problem. So we just got up, we went to the back of the plane, we just took her time, then we came back, and Jennifer was a different person, like it never happened. But that lanyard, that tiny little thing, made such a difference on that flight, where for the next 5 hours on that plane, everybody understood that Jennifer might need to walk away. She was fine. But she has that security that when we go into a different environment, that she has this tiny little card attached to her, that she can give the confidence. It gives her the confidence, and she can say, it's all right, I've got this. People can just read it and say, I've got this. And I might get a little bit flaky, or I might get a little bit confused, or I might zone out, or I might need to leave the room, or whatever it is, but it's all right because I've got a brain injury. And I think people need to understand that there's so many people out there that have got so many different things done to their brain because it's such a complex thing. I think as a family, our hardest part was that nobody can tell you. Nobody can say, this is what's going to happen today, this is what's going to happen tomorrow. Nobody can tell you. You've just got to wait and see what happens, and that's the hardest thing as a parent, to stand there and go, well, I can't fix my child, there's nothing I can do to help her, we've just got to wait and see. You can have as much technology as you want, as many things on screens, the most clever people in the world, but when it comes to the brain, nobody knows. Essentially, nobody knows and nobody can tell you. We're all winging it, which is basically what I've done up here, but that's what a brain injury is, you wing it. Because nobody knows. We've all just got to wait and see. So I'm going to read a little bit from Jennifer, who I've been very specifically told to read the top line of one bit and the rest of the other. So what she says, I feel like something is wrong with me. It hurts. I don't mean physically, though that is sometimes the case, but mainly mentally. I got a brain injury when I was 12, having my 13th birthday in the hospital. I'm 15 now, but it doesn't feel that way. Stop with that voice. You're mature for your age. Both, though, may contrast. I have heard I act like a child, putting on a higher-pitched voice because of my brain injury, but I also act too mature. I hide what people complain about, and I don't really feel much anymore, so it doesn't affect me as much as it might do to others, and I'm sorry for them, even if they haven't met anyone truly like me yet. Everyone thought I was going to die. Some already thought I was dead, isolated from society, the same walls, the same tests galore. I appreciate what people did in the hospital, but I had someone to ask what type of private business I did mostly, likely to make sure my body was functioning correctly. I couldn't do anything. Life as I knew it disappeared. Physio, tubes, and waiting was a new ordinary. Talking to other patients in the rooms I live in, waking up to them, no longer there, I was lonely. Now it's been 2 years and quite a lot has changed. I'm more confident, sort of. I found ways to cope that people that now may not judge me for. I function mostly well, besides the now uncommon case of being overwhelmed. So much has happened to me, good and bad. Yeah, I recall almost nothing. At times I'm glad, others I want to know, to solve my own mystery, but I'm content for now, at least until I go overwhelmed again. So Jennifer wrote that, so I've just read that out for her. She has agreed to take some questions if anybody's willing to ask her anything or wants to ask her anything. But basically, as a family, we just go forward now and appreciate every day for what it is and never, ever look at anybody and judge them again, because you never know what's going on in somebody's world, even though they look normal. What is normal?
Jennifer's kidding on, she's shy. Has anybody got any questions for Stacy, Jennifer, or Vicki?
Okay, I don't know how this works. Okay. Okay. Oh, you want? Okay.
Anybody any questions?
Oh, that person there. Like guiding people.
Right, thank you very much, Vicki and Jennifer.
No.
I'm glad we came and caught this talk because we went through all this 2015. And as you can see the day, she's here. I just wanted to say to Jennifer, please don't worry too much. You will get there and take the help that you can. Mm-hmm. Aisling, when it came to doing our, I was saying GSEs, Nat 5s, go as far as Nat 5 because that's as far as her memory would allow.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you don't get any further than that. Nobody's using geography or geometry in this room today.
No.
Do you know, as long as you know your A, B's and C's and your 1 to 10, you'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to thank you because it's really courageous. And this day is all about you and Aisling and Sage is sitting outside. Yous are the 3 young people that I know of in this room that have got brain injuries. and they're actually living with it. So well done you.
Thank
and
you.
Hopefully there'll be somebody else will come in with a decent question for you.
Thank
But
you.
I just wanted to say thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm not sure what to do. Okay. Where's she going? Oh, okay.
Thanks so much for sharing both your stories. What strategies do you find useful for managing your overwhelm? Just so we can everybody in this room maybe pass it on to others.
So, like, what do I use to help me being overwhelmed, basically? Yeah, okay. So I use multiple things, like such as like listening to music. I quite enjoy listening to music in general, but yeah. But sometimes if I get way too overwhelmed and hold on a minute, and I'm in a place that my brain finds safe, I will do something like called age regression, which is like, since I've had like a traumatic childhood and plus because of my brain injury, my brain regresses to the age of that of a child, usually the age of 4, which kind of explains the voice, but I don't do it too much anymore. So yeah, I do that. So yeah, that's the main 2 ways I deal with being overwhelmed. And I do go into a more quiet location. There we go. So yeah, that's the 3 reasons why. And I drink a lot of water. I have a 2-litre water bottle.
Thank you. Is there any other questions? No, I think you deserve a big round of applause for going up on that stage.